Good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and in this live session we will be discussing about Indian Express newspaper. So we will start with the front page and then we will continue with the articles. Okay. So first article would be air quality and dust suppressants. Okay, we will talk about that. Rising reliance on oil imports, Ramlila in Caribbean. So basically we'll be talking about these three things. When we are talking about air quality, it is in the news because now in Delhi and areas like Delhi and Mumbai, there is this problem of air pollution which is resurfaced again every year at this time of Dashera and Diwali. There is this problem of air quality here. Okay, AQI which seriously drops. Okay, and then there are these dust suppressants. These are some kind of a way for government to fight this particular air quality. So when there is this severe level of pollution, then government goes for certain measures. Okay, one of the measure is dust suppressant. We will talk about this dust suppressant, what is it and how it is helping. Then rising reliance on oil imports. So now we know that India has some nearly 85% or 86% of reliance on oil imports. Recently it has increased to 87%. Now we will be talking about that, why it has happened. Then Ramlila in Caribbean. So our culture in a country like which is far away from you at the coast of Atlantic, so in some island of Caribbean, there is this culture of Ramlila. We'll be talking about that, how it happened to be there. Okay. After that, we'll look at the editorials and then miscellaneous and we'll wrap up the session. Okay. So let's start with the first page. So here you can see Mr. Bisan Singh Bedi, a fantastic sports person. He passed away. Okay. After that, we'll be looking about in Maharashtra, both deputy CM supported the caste survey. Okay. So recently you must have understood, talked about it. Caste survey has happened in Bihar, because of which there was a talk all over India. Even opposition parties are saying that they want to conduct a caste survey all over India. Okay. Now that Maharashtra's CM are also looking forward to it, they are also indicating that they would want to go for a caste survey. Why it is in news? Because now the CM, deputy CM in Maharashtra is saying that for Marathas, reservation for Marathas, they want to conduct this caste survey so that they can have a quantitative data to evident as a evidence. They can produce it when they are providing this particular reservation to this class. They are saying that they don't want to go through the scrutiny by court, and even if this scrutiny happened, okay, we would have sufficient evidence to support this particular action. Okay. Why? Because in Indira Sahani case, court has put a cap of 50% over reservation. You should not go beyond this particular limit. Okay, so there is this 50% cap which has been put by Supreme Court in Indira Sahani. Other than that, whenever you are going beyond this cap, you should have a quantifiable data. Okay, so tell that this particular community need a representation because it is underrepresented. Okay, so that is why now deputy CMs are saying that they would want to go for caste survey, on the basis of which they will create a database and they will use it as a evidence, or you can say quantifiable data as asked by the Supreme Court, so that the reservation stays. Okay, so that is about this. Maharashtra CMs talking about deputy CMs talking about this caste survey. It has happened in Bihar. Now there is a talk in Maharashtra. Okay, so this is about Israel-Palestine war which is going on. So it's the same. They are talking about casualties, etc. Not important for our examination. So next is AQI likely to be very poor over next 3 days because of the Dashera. Or there are chances that there will be pollution, and there are dust particles because of which mostly these AQI is going to be very poor. This dust particle can come from your construction sites, your daily vehicular emissions, etc. Okay, so now what the government is doing is public transit boost. Okay, a suppressant to control the dust. Okay, we'll talk about the suppressants, and there is this public transit booths. They are appealing to the public to use public transport. Metro and buses frequency will be increased, and there will be some teams, they will be deployed in the areas which are severely polluted. And then dust suppressant, we will be talking about that. These suppressant will be sprinkled with water. And then traffic police to monitor some congestion points, not important. Monitoring to ensure regulation on DG sets are followed. These are the steps taken by the Delhi government in this regard. Okay, we will be talking about in particular these suppressants. So when we are talking about these suppressants, or before that we will be talking about this AQI. What is AQI index? So India uses air quality index AQI to measure and report air quality levels. How they do it? Because they will use certain kind of pollutants, and they will monitor the amount of these pollutants in the environment. Okay, so there are 6 pollutants, we will be talking about them. And AQI categorize air from good to severe. There will be categories: good, then bad, poor, severe, all like this. There will be some categories. Okay, now when we are talking about these pollutants, so there are these 6 pollutants: PM matter 2.5, okay, particulate matter 2.5, then particulate matter PM 10, okay, then nitrogen dioxide NO2. It is a gas which produces by the combustion. Then sulfur dioxide, it is a gas which is which comes in the environment because of the fossil fuel, etc. And then carbon monoxide, okay, this is a colorless, odorless gas produced during the incomplete combustion. Okay, so this is kind of harmful. You have to note that there is no mention of CO2. We do not take data for CO2 when we are talking about AQI. Okay, then ozone. We know that ozone in the stratosphere is a good gas. It will avoid the what you call ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. But when we are talking about ground level, these ozone are harmful pollutants. Okay, so these are the 6 pollutants which we consider for our AQI. Okay, so you can remember these things. There is a tendency to ask question on such things. Why are the dust suppressant and they have worked in the past? So we will be talking about that. What are these dust suppressants? So basically dust suppressant are nothing but some kind of chemicals, or you can say salts of calcium and magnesium. These salt of calcium and magnesium, what they do is they absorb water from the water moisture from the environment. Okay, now these dust suppressant are basically powder which are being mixed with the water, and that water is being sprinkled around the city. Okay, around the construction areas or wherever the dust particles are more. Okay, so that is a way for curbing the dust particles. What happens is when dust particles are in the air, there are chances of water molecule to use them as a nuclei. Okay, because of which there are chances of being this fog like situation, which create an issue. Okay, other than that also dust particles are not good for your respiratory system, so that is why it is necessary for us to control them. Dust suppressants will be used in Delhi and NCR region to combat pollution caused by the dust particles. Okay, now these suppressants are likely to be calcium or magnesium salts which absorb the water moisture from the environment. Okay, earlier what used they have used it earlier also. Before that we only used to sprinkle water only. When you are sprinkling only water, the effect of this particular thing would be around, you can say, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and when we are sprinkling this suppressants with this water, the effect will be around, you can say, 6 hours. Okay, so that is how it will control the pollution in those areas where it is necessary. So you can say they are mixed with water before being sprayed over the roads to reduce dust levels for an extended duration. Okay, from 15 to 20 minutes, so it will extend to 4 to 5 hours. Okay, use of the dust suppressant aims to settle the dust particle. As I told you, they will absorb the moisture from the environment, so these dust particle will settle down slowly. Which are the significant contributor to the air pollution in the region? The Central Pollution Control Board CPCB has suggested the use of dust particle or dust suppressant on excavated earth surfaces. All the surfaces which are excavated because of some pipeline issues, etc., constructions and the demolition sites, and SSS road in 2019. It was given in 2019, okay, and now we are also using it today also. A study on the effectiveness of dust particle suppressant and found that using them with water reduces the dust concentration PM10, PM2.5 and PM1 by nearly 30%. So when we are talking about the concentration, they will reduce the concentration around 30%, and when we are talking about the time, it will continue to have effect for 6 hours. Okay, so that is longer than the normal water which we use to spray. Okay, so that is about these dust suppressants. India's reliance on crude oil rises to 87.8% in April from 86.5% a year ago. So basically a year ago there is this 86.5%, before that it was nearly 85%, then it rose to 86.5%, and now it is some 87.8%. So we are seeing that there is a continuous rise in the demand. Okay, so because of when you have consumption demand and your domestic production is low, basically you can say the domestic production is stagnant, okay, because of which you have to import the oil. When we are importing it, because of which we are relied on the crude oils import. Now these imports have different issues on, or you can say different toll on economies. It will have a toll on your trade deficit, it will have a toll on inflation, etc. Okay, when we are talking about forex reserve, when you are going for import of certain things, you have to spend your forex reserve. Okay, so it will have a depletion effect on forex reserve, it will increase the inflation in your domestic economy, and then you can talk about the trade deficit. When you are talking about the international trade, there will be a trade deficit because you are importing more and exporting less. Okay, so here you can say consumption of the fuel and the other petroleum products increased while domestic production was flat. While the government wants to reduce India's high dependence on imported oil, the sluggish domestic output in the face of the continuously growing domestic demand has led to the reliance on the imports, which we have discussed. Okay, in early 2015 we have set a target. Okay, so we have set a target that we will reduce the import dependence. Okay, by 2022 we will be going around somewhere around 67%. Okay, here you can see 67% by 2022 and 77% by there was this 77% reliance in when you say 2013 and 14. So we have set a target to reduce this reliance from 77 to 67%. Okay, but by 2022 you can say it has increased to 87%. So basically it has increased by the same amount we wanted to reduce it. Okay, so that is one thing, and it will make the economy vulnerable to the global oil prices. See, prices of oil, food, etc. are vulnerable. They change very frequently. Okay, if there is a small crisis in let's say Middle East, there will be a fluctuation in the price of oil. Okay, because of which, and since we are overly dependent upon import, 87% is huge. So in such case our economy fell vulnerable to this fluctuation in the oil prices. Okay, so which is not good for the economy. And for the trade deficit it is not good. Foreign exchange reserve, it depletes the foreign exchange, and the you can say rupees exchange rate and inflation. We have discussed all these factors. Okay, so that's all about this article. Then Ramlila in Trinidad. Okay, this particular area is somewhere in Caribbean. Okay, in Atlantic Ocean there is this particular area, Caribbean islands, and in one of the island is Trinidad. So basically how Ramlila is performed in so far area, because when we are under the British rule, at that time this particular islands also were the colonies, and they used to use this slave economies and use this slave for their plantation purposes, etc. But you know that in 1834 this slavery was abolished in British India, okay, or you can say British Empire everywhere. So slavery was abolished, because of which there was a demand of labor everywhere. Okay, and now these labor work, they wanted to pay less, but they had to do this labor work because their economy was supposed to hang on that. It was a plantation based economy there. So what they did was they started to import labor from countries like India, the other colonies where they had a rule. Okay, so they kind of took labor from India in the form of contract labor, or you can say indentured labor, which ultimately become bondage labor, because what they used to do is they used to keep certain amount of their wages to themselves till the contract period was over. Okay, so because of which the labor cannot move or get out of this situation. So in this regard, many labor from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar got settled in that particular area. Okay, and these people were Bhojpuri speaking people. They took culture from here and they settled there, and with the time, the community there grew to nearly, you can say, 35% of the population. So 35% of the population of this particular island is basically of Indian origin. Or since it is of Indian origin, now they have their culture there. They started to perform this Ram Leela over there. Okay, they took Ramcharitmanas from here, and in their Bhojpuri language they performed Ram Leela over there. And since community is huge, so there is a political sway of this community over there, and because of which the art got the patronage over there. Okay, so that is why they are performing this particular Ram Leela in island far away from India. Okay, and with time there was these issues with the modern education, etc. The language was kind of depleting there. People speaking Bhojpuri are depleting because they are moving toward English and other languages of the you can say the local language, etc. because of the education. But then since as I told you that there is a political sway, these Ramleela are still performing in the simpler languages but not in the Bhojpuri anymore. But since the origin of these things are from Ramcharitmanas only, so this art is still alive there. Okay, so we can say that this is a something can be used as soft power. You can say you can use it as a soft power. There is a diaspora living there, or you can say people of Indian origin living there for almost a century now, and they are having a political sway in this region, and they are performing their own culture over there. Okay, I have taken this article because of this particular location. They can ask about this location. This is an island in Caribbean. We'll see the location of this particular thing. Here you can see this is your North Atlantic Ocean, this is your Caribbean Sea. Okay, so here somewhere these are these group of islands. Okay, and there is this Trinidad and Tobago Islands. Okay, so here you can see this is the Venezuela, and then this particular area you can look for. This is your Trinidad and Tobago Island. Okay, you can remember these locations for your examination point of view. Moving ahead, talking about this particular ISRO which performed test, and we know that we have performed this test successfully. What are the impact of this test? Why this test is important for India? Now we know that there are future endeavors which ISRO has planned. One of them is Gaganyaan, and for Gaganyaan it is a, you can say, manned space flight. Okay, we will be sending let's say some astronauts to 400 kilometers in the space, and then bring them back to Earth. For that, now what happened is, whatever satellites we sent to the space, it stays there. It works for a while, and then the debris stays there only. But when we are talking about a manned mission or a human space flight, in that regard, it is important that we bring them back safely, and then safety becomes very crucial in such missions. And this test which we have performed about, there was a test vehicle, TV-driven, and then there was this crew escape system, and there was this crew module. Okay, so these three things which we have tested and we were successful, these three indicates that we are focusing too much on safety. Okay, which is kind of crucial for such missions. Okay, so let's see what is there in this particular article. Safety first approach to Gaganyaan. Okay, this is obvious because we are sending humans and human life matters. Okay, so safety first approach to Gaganyaan, a step closer to the mission. Since we were successful in doing that, what we have done is we have basically used a test vehicle, or you can say a rocket, which was sent to a particular height of around 17 kilometer, and then there was this abort signal, and because of which this there is this crew escape system, okay, which separated from other part of the you can say module, and then this departed using some parachutes and then splashed down in Bay of Bengal. It was successful, though there was some kind of delay in the launch because of some ignition related issues in the engine, but we have rectified those mistakes, you can say, or you can say the problems which we are facing in a little amount of time, and then we have gone with the mission. Okay, so this mission was announced basically when we are talking about this manned space program. It was announced in 2018 by PM Modi in their independence speech, and the target was set was 2022, but because of some constraint, and then there was COVID, and this has shifted to 2025. Also, there is this thing that we have given the focus to the safety, so we have to ensure that every test here goes successful, so that there is no problem when we are going further with the launch. Okay, that is why we have took our time to give this particular deadline to ourselves. Okay. So we have talked about this in case of emergency, when astronauts are going through the flight. If there is an emergency, this crew module, crew escape system will help them get out of that particular system. So that is important, and we have talked about it. Other than that, when we are talking about ISRO, we have started in 1969, and then first satellite was launched in 1975. That was Aryabhatta, and after that Bhaskar 2, all these satellite has gone. Then INSAT series, we have worked on our launch vehicle as well. We started with SLV, then ASLV, augmented satellite launch vehicle, and then we went for the polar satellite launch vehicle. And then now we have the advanced technology of GSLV, okay, geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle, which we have Mark 3 with the cryogenic engines. So when we are talking about all this achievement, ISRO has done really good in the field of space. Okay, we have given a message to the world that we are very ready, and we are ready to launch other countries to space. Okay, so recently you must have heard about this Antriksh branch. Antriksh is basically nothing but the commercial arm of ISRO. So what this commercial arm does is that they provide services to other countries. Okay, if there is some certain thing, if a country which doesn't have the capacity to launch a satellite to the space, they can come to India and we can launch it for them. Okay, there are instances when we have launched satellite with our satellites for our other countries as well. Okay, then there is this new entity which was in news, New Space India Limited. Okay, this is also a arm of ISRO only. So basically this is for the role of private players. ISRO wants to increase the role of private player in space field. So we have started this particular organization, or you can say commercial arm of ISRO, which will help the private players to get into the space exploration, etc. Okay, so these two bodies are important for you, Antriksh and then New Space India Limited. Other than that, when we are talking about ISRO's achievement, in 2008 we have sent Chandrayaan 1, and then that was the basic satellite which has given you the discovery of water on the moon. Okay, after that we have sent Mars orbiter mission on the Mangal, or you can say Mangalyaan on Mars. You can say that was the project which was quite of kind of affordable, you can say. It was nearly of 300 crores. Okay, India was around fourth country to go to Mars. Okay, other than that, then there was Chandrayaan 2, which we have sent a lander, which we were expected to soft land on the South Pole, but it couldn't happen, unfortunately. But in Chandrayaan 3 we have done that. So Vikram lander has soft landed on the South Pole of Moon. So India becomes the first country which has soft landed on the South Pole of the Moon. Okay, so these are the achievement of the ISRO, and there is future prospects. Okay, when we are talking about other future prospects, there is this Indian Space Center. We are expected to start an Indian Space Center by 2035, and then a manned mission to moon by 2040. So when we are talking about a manned mission or a Gaganyaan, for such projects safety becomes very immense to tackle. Okay, so that is what we have done with this particular test. Okay, we have talked about it, you can give it a read. Okay, moving further, there is this another article which is not important for your exam point of view much, but you can some, if they ask some questions about peace and harmony with neighbor, or you can say soft power of state. Okay, so we can utilize this thing. Okay, when we are talking about Pakistan, it is a neighbor which we have a very close cultural connect, because they were part of India at some point of time. There are many actors, or you can say many artists, who basically perform in India as well. They have been capitalizing their professions here. Okay, there are certain example of Fawad Khan, Mahira Khan, Atif Aslam, and then Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. All these people have worked in India. Okay, so there was recently a petition which were looking for banning all these artists from working in India. Okay, so High Court of Bombay, or you can say Bombay High Court, has rejected that petition, and they have said that it is a setback. Okay, you are going in a regressive direction when we are talking about art and culture. Art and culture is beyond borders, so you should not go for such things. Okay, banning Pakistani artists from working in India deprives both countries, because art is something which does not see any kind of border. Okay, since if a movie is being launched in India, or you can say if a song is being launched in India, it is admired by both Indians as well as Pakistanis. Okay, so such borders should not be drawn. Okay, so that is what basically it is written in this article. High Court has dismissed the petition seeking to the ban on Pakistani artists working in India. It is a retrograde step in promoting culture, harmony, unity and peace. Okay, so there is no merit in that particular petition. So that is the crux of this article. We will not go into details of it. Okay, so that's it. Then a vote of conscience, CGI has said when he has given the judgment, there are very few judgments, so you can say 11 or 12 judgments, in which CGI has become on the minority side of the judgment. Okay, and in same-sex judgment also, same-sex marriage judgment also, the CGI was on the minority. Okay, the views of CGI was that, first, that marriage is not a constitutional right, so we cannot provide it, and since it's a statutory right, so it is for Parliament to decide on the issue. Okay, other than that, on the issue of adoption, CGI has said that they have right to adoption, but the majority bench said that no, in the existing legal framework we don't have such right. Okay, so that is what he has talking about. He has said that sometimes most of the time, or you can say when we are talking about a constitutional democracy, constitutional morality prevails over the social majority. This should be the case, and this is what has said by the CGI in this particular article. Okay, so the ruling, when we are talking about this particular ruling, I'll give you a quick revision that the ruling, while not granting any legal recognition to same-sex marriages, acknowledge the right and protection of the queer individuals, leaving the issue to the Parliament to decide for the potential changes. Okay, so that is the basic crux of the judgment. Here I wanted to tell you only one thing, that is this constitutional morality should prevail over the social majority. Okay, then there is this civil union. There was this talk of civil union. In this particular judgment, it was said that the queer community people has a right to relationship, but not the civic unions. Okay, civic unions are nothing but basically it is not at par with the marriages, but they will be given the same rights or benefits which is given to a married couple. Okay, but in India that is not yet a case. There is this commission under the cabinet secretary that will decide on the fate of such things. Okay, chaliye, that's it. We'll see another article. This is the key pointers from the ruling. We have discussed it. You can take a snapshot if you want, and you can give it a read. Okay, I have discussed all these things. Law Commission likely to meet Cowen panel tomorrow. We have talked about it yesterday. One nation, one election. or you can say one nation, one poll. We have talked about it, and law commission is kind of in favor of this. There are chances that law commission will give a report in favor of this particular step by the central government. Now we have also talked about this high level committee by under the former President Ramnath Kovind. Okay, so this law commission will be meeting to Mr. Kovind and have a talk about this particular issue, and we'll see what happens in the future or in tomorrow's newspaper. What was the talks? Okay, so we have talked about it. Only thing important here is that there is a high level commission headed by Mr. Ramnath Kovind, which would be talking about the implementation of one nation, one election. Okay. Then Bihar to conduct its own ranking of colleges, set up a panel for inspection. Recently, Bihar has done three things, that you can say this caste survey, and then they have done a survey on the you can say mental health of teachers. Okay, and now this is third thing which they are doing is they are basically ranking the colleges of Bihar. These colleges are performing very poor. When we are talking about the accreditations by NA and NAAC, there are only 35 colleges which got the acknowledgement. But the thing is, they are saying that why is this that we are performing so poor on this front. So that will be handled by this ranking. They will be providing a ranking of their own colleges, and on the basis of that ranking, the government grants will be provided. Okay, so performance of these colleges on this particular index would be considered as a you can say basis on which the government will be granting the money to the colleges. Okay, so that's about it. So let's wrap up the session here. We have covered all the important article from Indian Express. So that's all about today's newspaper. We'll see you in the next session tomorrow. Have a good day. Thank you.